Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about the concept of Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz in his book with the same title. What you are invited to do is adopt a more flexible approach to your sense of identity, where, instead of viewing identity as who you are, you see it as a temporary mask. You can change at any time, even if, admittedly, some parts of it are harder to change than others. Before continuing, it's important to understand how we are using the word identity in this context, as it's likely that most people only have a vague understanding of what the word means, just like with many words that hold a lot of personal meaning to many people. Identity, in the simplest of terms, refers to who you think you are. But you will realize that this is not a very useful definition simply by asking the question, who am I? Your brain may come up with answers such as, I'm a bank teller, a hard rocker, a grumpy person, an easygoing person, and so on. But we change jobs, tastes, character traits, and so on from time to time. So while we often build a sense of identity around these things, this is more complicated than it appears on the surface. And as we shall see, we can benefit a lot from applying a more conscious approach to these matters. Therefore, let's examine this a bit further. If you paid attention, you may have realized that character traits are generally harder to change than other parts of the identity, and they are also tied to the personality, which has lots of overlap with identity, but which is not the same thing. Personality refers to the consistent patterns of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It is influenced by both genetic predispositions and environmental factors. Traits like extroversion, agreeableness, or conscientiousness are often used to describe personality. One major factor within the personality that separates it from identity is that personality traits often can diverge quite a bit from one's sense of self. With that being said, let's get back to identity. In more formal terms, identity refers to the internalized perception or understanding of who you believe you are. It is the mental framework that encompasses your self-image, self-concept, and self-worth, which collectively shape how you view your abilities, limitations, likes, dislikes, opinions, views, and your role in the world. Identity is, furthermore, the overarching narrative of your existence and is shaped by a mix of internal perceptions and external influences, such as culture, upbringing, and experiences. For instance, you may identify as a compassionate person, an artist, or a parent. These are aspects of your identity that encompass both what you see in yourself and how you perceive your connection to the larger world. This identity functions as a psychological blueprint. Like a map, it guides your thoughts, actions, and reactions, often without your conscious awareness. It influences everything from the decisions you make to the way you handle challenges and opportunities. For example, if you see yourself as a confident and capable person, you're more likely to approach new situations with assurance. Conversely, if your identity is rooted in feelings of inadequacy, you might shy away from opportunities, even when you're perfectly capable of succeeding. Identity is not fixed or static. Rather, it is a dynamic construct that evolves based on experiences, beliefs, emotions, and behaviors. And as we have now seen, you do not have to equate this identity with who you are. Instead, you can look at it as a role that you are playing. If you're a good actor, you can become so immersed in the role that you forget your true self for a time. However, the transient nature of the role is always there in the back of your mind. If you understand that you are playing a role, that is. To take the role metaphor a bit further, you may also be better suited for some roles than others, and whether this has to do with how you were born or with the experiences that you've acquired may in some instances be hard to tell. Dr. Maltz, who began his work as a plastic surgeon, began observing a strange phenomenon. Some patients continue to see themselves as unattractive or inadequate even after dramatic physical changes. He realized that a person's self-image was not tied solely to physical appearance, but was deeply influenced by internal beliefs and perceptions. This realization led to the creation of Psycho-Cybernetics, which teaches us that the mind operates as a goal-seeking mechanism. When you set a clear target, your desired identity, your subconscious mind works to achieve it. But if your current self-image is negative, the goals you unconsciously pursue may keep you stuck in cycles of limitation. With this in mind, you are invited to start looking at your identity from a new perspective. Instead of thinking of your identity as who you are, the suggestion is to look at your identity as a tool that you can have fun with, experiment with, and use to shape your life consciously. From the way you interact with others to the opportunities you attract or repel, this inner narrative holds the power to either empower or constrain you. You are not bound to the story you've told yourself about who you are. The only real limits to your ability to change your identity are your physical and psychological barriers, many of which, as we shall see, are self-imposed and less fixed than they may appear. This leads us to the question of self-image, which, just like personality, is closely tied to your identity. It is essentially the mental blueprint of who you believe yourself to be. It's formed through past experiences, reinforced by repeated thoughts, and stored in your subconscious mind. Imagine it as a thermostat regulating your life. If you step outside the range of what you believe is possible for you, whether in success, relationships, or health, the thermostat pulls you back to the level you see as your normal. That's why someone who doesn't see themselves as deserving of success might unconsciously sabotage a promising opportunity. You may be telling yourself that you're competent while hiding your low self-esteem even from yourself, and you need to start becoming acquainted with your inner life to understand how you truly see yourself. What are your thoughts telling you on a daily basis? Do you believe them? Or what are you, for example, really thinking at times of failure or setbacks? The problem is usually not a lack of ability, but a self-image that drives you to take actions that go against your goals and aspirations. The good news is that this mental thermostat can be reset. One of the most powerful tools in this process is visualization. Your mind doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events. By mentally rehearsing the identity you aspire to embody, you create a neural blueprint that your subconscious begins to accept as real. Visualization isn't mere daydreaming, it's an active process of mentally experiencing your desired outcomes as if they're happening now. For example, if you want to feel more confident in social settings, you can close your eyes and picture yourself walking into a room, engaging effortlessly in conversations, and feeling genuinely at ease. The more vivid the imagery, the sounds, the sights, the feelings, the more your brain treats it as a genuine experience, reinforcing the pathways that make this new behavior feel natural. It's important to make clear that this should not be regarded as another chore to be performed in an already busy life. If you want to, you can visualize your new identity before you go to sleep, or even when you go about your day. The key is to break free from the patterns that have been running on autopilot. Also, please be kind to yourself. Changing your identity isn't easy. It shouldn't be taken dead seriously. The first step towards change is to accept where you are. And it's certainly not about living up to someone else's standards. There's no right or wrong here, and you choose what kind of identity you want to cultivate. And it may take some time to figure this out. It's very possible that, upon reflection, your ideal may be far from both societal norms and even what you yourself thought it was. As was hinted at a moment ago, another key aspect of changing your self-image is reprogramming your self-talk. The language you use when speaking to yourself holds incredible power over your beliefs and behaviors. Positive affirmations can be effective, but only when they resonate with you. If saying, "I am confident and capable," feels like a lie, start with statements that you can believe, like, "I am open to growing in confidence each day." Over time, as your actions align with these affirmations, your belief in them grows, creating a virtuous cycle of transformation. How challenging this is varies, but even if you find it difficult, you can usually find some traits within yourself that you feel positive about. Perhaps it's your passion for a particular subject, or a wish to be part of something bigger than yourself. Or maybe you've understood something about reality or other people that pass most folks by. Be creative. The process of shifting your self-image isn't only about imagination and words, it's deeply tied to your actions. Begin acting as if you are already the person you wish to become. This doesn't mean pretending or faking. It means choosing behaviors that align with your desired identity, even if they feel unfamiliar at first. If you want to see yourself as disciplined, start by consistently committing to small habits, like organizing your workspace or setting aside time for focused work. Every action you take reinforces your self-concept, gradually building a new identity. Through the process called neuroplasticity, our brains are constantly shaped by the choices we make, and once we've made something a habit, it more or less happens automatically. While forming the habit may have been associated with discomfort, breaking it will now feel uncomfortable instead. Think for a moment about what this means. You are not tied to your current identity, it's not who you are, and there are proven methods to reshape it even if it requires time and persistence. Emotions also play a significant role in this transformation. Much of what holds us back stems from unresolved emotional patterns tied to our past. Dr. Maltz observed that releasing negative emotions, such as shame, fear, or guilt, is essential for growth. When you notice these feelings arising, instead of resisting them, allow yourself to feel them fully. By doing so, you release their grip on your self-image, making space for positive change. Emotional awareness and acceptance become powerful allies in rewiring the subconscious mind. In conclusion, the principles of Psycho-Cybernetics remind us that identity is not a rigid, unchangeable truth, but a flexible construct we can consciously reshape. All that remains constant is awareness. Everything else is in a constant state of change. Like the ancient alchemical process of transmutation, where base metals are transformed into gold, this journey invites us to take the raw material of our current self-image and refine it. By understanding identity as a temporary role rather than a fixed definition, we gain the power to step outside limiting narratives and embrace the potential for growth. Through visualization, affirmations, and deliberate action, we can reprogram the mental blueprint that governs our lives, aligning our self-image with the person we aspire to become. Just as alchemy sought to purify and elevate, the work of reshaping your self-image transforms not only how you see yourself, but also how you experience life. This journey isn't about perfection or meeting external expectations. It's about exploring your authentic self, experimenting with new possibilities, and creating a life that reflects your inner vision. While challenges and old habits may arise along the way, self-compassion and persistence will guide you toward transformation. You hold the power to rewrite your story, break free from limiting patterns, and craft an identity that enables you to thrive. As with alchemy, patience, and intentional effort are key. The process may take time, but each step brings you closer to realizing the golden potential within. Remember that none of this is who you truly are. It's a role that you take on and refine while you're here, and some roles suit some people better than others. There's no right or wrong here. You are free to choose. You are even free to immerse yourself completely in the role and identify with it fully, or even to try to convince others to accept and believe in the role you are playing. But be cautious, for if you choose to fully identify with the role, you risk losing sight of the deeper truth of who you are. A suggestion is to have fun with this process. Be flexible and choose something that resonates with you and brings happiness to you and those around you. Or do something else entirely. In the end, it's your choice. You've now reached the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for your time.